Right, hello, welcome to another video. Yes, I've moved my desk area around, but we still maintain the lovely foliage in the background. Okay, this video is a big one. It's been kind of long awaited on my channel, I think. It's been 3 months since I did the video on why I'm leaving the iPhone 10 for this guy, the Google Pixel 2 XL. Yeah, that was about 3 months ago, so it's been 3 months with the phone. And then I did the camera review in June, so it's been 2 months since I've done that video as well. So yeah, this is going to be kind of my thoughts on the Google Pixel 2 XL. I'm going to say a kind of disclaimer thing at the start of this video. This is not going to be a kind of tech review or kind of go into really technical numbers and stuff like that, so don't expect any kind of Geekbench scores or that stuff, which no one really cares about in a real world situation when they buy phones. When they go out and buy phones from their local carrier, they don't care about scores. So let's get into it then. Pixel 2. I'm going to run through a couple of pointers first. Why the phone is amazing, because it is an amazing phone, and now I'm going to go into the ridiculously bad points about the phone. Because if you've seen my previous video, I did a rant about a few kind of things which is really annoying me and has disappointed me. Right, let's get to it then. So number one, I'm going to cover the phone itself. So a lot of you may know I have come from the iPhone 10. Which I bought when it came out last year, October, yeah. So yeah, I made a decision after about 5 or 6 months to get rid of the iPhone 10 because I explained in that video, you can go watch it, my reasons why I left the iPhone 10 to go for the Google Pixel, but that's in a separate video. So I thought, okay, this phone is going to be amazing from now on. I'm going to use this phone, I'm going to be on Android, I'm going to be an Android user, get into the system of Android. If it works for me, then I'll keep the phone. So the phone itself then, it's a very, very good phone. I think the software, the stock Android is very good on this phone. It works swift, fast. Fingerprint scanner is very quick. You can open it within milliseconds. And the kind of UI and stuff like that is so fast to kind of navigate around the phone. You know, you swipe up to get your app drawer, and you can swipe down with one finger to get the notifications at the top, and then pull down again to get your Wi-Fi and your mobile data and all that stuff, hotspot, things up there. So I think the phone itself in a whole is actually a very good phone. A lot quicker than iPhone, I have experienced. iPhone is kind of, even though the iPhone's kind of flow and the continuity through the iOS is very nice, Android is much quicker. I mean, just you can tell, say if you have an iPhone in your hand and a Google Pixel 2 in your hand and you swipe between the pages like this, the Google Pixel is much faster. There's some settings you can tweak in the iPhones where you don't have the gestures on and all the kind of moving background screen, but still, I think the Android takes that much to a better extent of using the phone very quickly than an iPhone. The build quality is very good. People were skeptical about, the plastic back, and it's not built as well as some other phones, but I found it good. I do wear a case on it. I wear just a clear case. God, look how dirty that is. So when I put it in the car and stuff, it doesn't get hit and chipped on the corners. I did used to have the denim case, but I've given that to my girlfriend, who's using it currently. But yeah, build quality very good. It doesn't have the dual cameras, and dual cameras in 2018 is a must apparently. This doesn't have the dual cameras, just one camera, but I vouch that the camera is very good. I mean, it's personal preference really, but I like the camera better than the iPhone camera. It's very crisp, very sharp. I think it's got slightly more dynamic range than the iPhone 10 camera. But yeah, that's my opinion on the camera. I've made a whole video on that, so you can go and watch that. I'll link it here or down below, whatever. I've done a whole video on that one, so you can go have a look at that if you want my thoughts on the camera. And I'm comparing this just to iPhone because I've never had a Samsung experience before. I've held one, I've gone through the pages and apps and stuff like that, but I've never owned one. So this is kind of a real world review from my perspective on this actual phone. I'm not tech YouTuber, I don't get thrown phones at and get paid for doing videos and stuff like that. This is bought with my money. I went out and bought this, and I can't have two phones at once, so I can't compare it directly to Samsung or LG or iPhone at the same time. I can only go from what my previous experience was with the phone. User experience, as I've already said, is very easy to use. I mean, a lot of phones now are pretty easy to use if you just want to call people, text, go on Instagram, Facebook. Yeah, just generally use the phone. Camera, take a picture, pretty much all phones cover that quite easily nowadays. It's not a mission to kind of do those functions. So Android P is kind of a big thing. There's very good things and very bad things, which I'll lead on to the end of this video. Android P releases to Google, first of all, about 2-3 months before the actual release of Android P, or a version of Android, comes out to the general kind of every person on the Android system. Now when Android P comes out for Google, the Google users are kind of skeptical to download because sometimes it's not kind of complete and there's still bugs and stuff and it doesn't really work as it should. So I downloaded it when it officially released. I chose that way because I didn't want any bugs and didn't want any kind of lagging or things that froze and didn't work. So I downloaded it at their official release. And it's been fine. I mean, Android P, it looks much better than Oreo, in my opinion. I mean, they call it Pi is the official name. So you get kind of different looking apps. You get circles now instead of, I think it was squares before or whatever. The color of the phone in the menus is white. It used to be blue in some menus and stuff. It has changed quite a bit, and now probably the biggest thing is the multitasking, where you can press the square button on the right hand side, and it's a bit like iPhones where you swipe up and get rid of them in a linear form like that, instead of the old one, you press the button and they all kind of filter down like this, and you scroll down and you press clear all. With the tweaks they've done, it's kind of a nicer experience than before on Oreo. And also the side button, the side volume buttons are now your volume keys, which come directly by the side of the button, so it's easier to press with one hand there. They used to come down at the top and you had to reach up to the top to press them. I don't know what else really to say really about the phone. I mean, if you're random Joe Blogs, you go out and buy this from a store, you'll be very happy with it. If you just want to take good photos, you want to just use your phone as a phone, it works very well as a phone. YouTube app, Facebook app, the Instagram app is all okay. It works nice. When I made the decision to go for this phone, I was like, oh my god, yes, this is a new thing, this is a new experience for me, this is going to be awesome, we're going to be using Android. At the time I was thinking it's much better than iPhones, it's stock Google, they've finally made a phone which has stock Android, all this stuff. But that's kind of the main problem with Android, because it's such a universal system that everyone uses, different brands use. So Samsung, LG, Motorola, all these brands, Nokia, they use the Android system. And because so now Google has to work to make the experience on each one of those phones, each one of those brands, they have to make the software work perfectly and they have to make it good. And that's a very hard kind of task and goal to do. And the other annoying thing is the other brands tweak their system of Android so it works better and they look different to the stock Google. So like Samsung, the menu system is different. It doesn't look like the Pixels. I would imagine that's a very hard task for Google to kind of give their software to someone and then let them tweak it, which kind of works well, but you know it's not as fluid as iOS. That's what I'm trying to say. So let me bring you on to my experience with Android and how the compatibility works with what I'm trying to use. So this is the thing. If you're a person which doesn't need it to be compatible with other equipment, like, I don't know, drones, your car system and stuff like that, you just want a phone which is good. You can use WhatsApp for messaging if you're okay with that. You can download an app called Allo and the Android messaging. If you're fine with that, the phone will work very well for you. It's fast, it's got a better battery than the iPhones. It's got 3,200 whatever, the iPhone's only got 2,700. It will last all day. I don't need to charge it until, 10, 11 at night. And that's amazing. I don't even have to plug it into the car to get charged while I'm out, because it will last all day. If you want a phone which is good like that, you'll have no problems at all. Apart from maybe when the beta Android comes out and you download it, there might be a few bugs, but it will work very well for you. But if you're kind of person who plays with drones all day and wants to use the DJI Go 4 app, or wants to plug it in to their car and their car system has to connect and talk to the system, or if you want to use a British Airways app, or if you want to use a Shell app, if you want to use these other apps which aren't, I mean, you could download them on iOS first and then they came out on Android later, you're going to have a little bit of a hard time. So I made a video, which is previous to this, is about how my drone doesn't work with bloody the Android P and all that. It does, iOS works with it. I'll put it this way, iOS works with it on an iPhone 6s, not even the flagship iPhone at the moment, and the Android P just doesn't work with the drone. So I use a Mavic Air, and you have to download an app to fly your drone, which is called the DJI 4 Go app. So you plug in your phone into the controller. This is with the Phantom 4, the Mavic Pro, probably even the new Mavic 2. Now on iPhone, you plug it in, it checks for firmware updates, and it says, okay, all good. And then you press start flight, and it flies up straight away with no qualms. So it just flies. When you plug the Android phone in, you get a system error, you get remote control error, you get a weak transition signal, you get all this kind of crap which is thrown at you on the screen and it doesn't work. It's ridiculous. We go down to the coast quite a lot and I like to use my drone there. Ever since I've had this phone, I have not been able to get a proper drone flight. I mean, this might be different to other people, but this is a real world review. I want to give you my experience to this. I mean, obviously other people out there don't just only use drones with Android, they do other things with their phones. But this is my experience. I wasted so much time trying to get this bloody phone to work. I've never had a proper flight and I've had the drone for about 2 months now. I bought it just before I went to Italy and I had that mess up in Italy that it didn't work. I nearly lost it along the Amalfi Coast, Cinque Terre up near Florence. I nearly lost it up there. If I was on an Apple device, I would have no problems at all. I mean, that proves in my previous video. You can go watch that. Okay, right, I'm going to add in a few comments here because most of you are going to be like, okay, he's just blaming the phone, he's just blaming Android. Let's take the phone out of the equation for a minute, so let's look at Android as a whole system here. It does sound like I'm blaming Android. Yes, of course I'm blaming Android because it's continuously not worked with the equipment I wanted to work with. And that's what the conclusion is brought down to, because I find it so strange that, say, take DJI for example, why does iOS work with it so well? Why can't they do the same for Android? Why can't DJI? Yes, absolutely. Like, true, DJI should work as well as they do with iOS. Why is that not happening at the moment? And also that brings me back to my previous comment where I said because it's so diverse, Android is so diverse with all these different brands that use their operating system. I think that is the case there. Android would come along. Hello, my name is Android. Hi, I want to work with you. And then DJI would just be going in their head office, oh shit, okay, we've got to try and work with Android as well. Even though it's a hard operating system to work with, we've got to try and work with this. But it always seems at the end of the day, it's just not 100%. It's never been 100%. I'm not just talking about P here, I'm talking about Oreo as well. Since I got the phone out, I obviously had the Oreo operating system by Android. And it was the same thing. The issues were the same. It was either the remote controller issue, the weak transmission signal, and it just wouldn't connect to the phone. So it's just an ongoing relationship with DJI and Android that they can't get their operating systems to work together. But then it brings me back to, oh, it's strange because iOS works so well with it. And they can't do it the same with Android. Why is that? Android needs to knuckle down and get their software working as fluidly, if not more, than iOS. They obviously have the potential there. But it's just a lot of kind of a relationship basis with all these different brands to try and work with as one. And that's why iOS does it so well. If I want to continue kind of my lifestyle with creating content, using other equipment, I need that equipment to be compatible with what I'm using. It's all personal preference. It's all to do with how you use your phone. Don't buy a phone to compete with others. If you got an iPhone 8 out there and you say, oh, I want to get the Samsung S9 because it's got a better camera and it's got better portrait mode. It probably does, and it works better. Cool, you've got that. But then if it doesn't work with actually how your kind of routine throughout the day, then you made a bad decision. And no one's going to care that it's better than someone else. So that's just my take. A very up and down video. The phone's amazing, but you've got to make the right decision if the phone's going to work for you. Through the experience through YouTube, I've never actually seen anyone done a kind of review like this. This is a real world review, and I don't piss about it. I'm this is no bullshit. So this is what I'm giving you. I hope you appreciate it. I'll probably get some funny comments, but each their own. Go buy a phone which works for you. That's my conclusion. Okay, after that long-winded chat, that is it. That's my Google Pixel 2 XL review. The iPhone comes out in a couple of days. I'll probably do a video on that saying, I mean, if they release good phones, then yeah, I'll be interested to go have a look at them. Yeah, so that's it, guys. Yeah, as I said, I hope you appreciate the video. More stuff coming soon. Drop down what you want to see, as always. Spec video on the cars coming soon. Also, which is gonna be cool. Yeah, so guys, hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you next one. Goodbye.